Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a first impressions over some products that I picked up at Target. I have this bag right here of some new products that I saw inside of Target, and I wanted to go ahead and do a first impressions with you guys and show you these products on my skin. So I wanted to go ahead and apply these products and show you guys how they work and give you my first impressions. So if you're interested in seeing what I think about these products, then just keep watching. So before we get started, I do want to show you something that I picked up from Target that I thought was so cute, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to get it because I don't really need another makeup bag, but my oldest daughter was like, "Mom, you have to get it, it's so cute." So I picked up this makeup bag and it says, "Drink some coffee, put on some lipstick, and handle it." And it has some gold lips there. And I thought it was just so adorable. And it's just got that spring vibe, and so I really love it. So I wanted to show this to you guys because I thought it was super cute, and I only paid $7.99 for it. So really excited to start using this. I'm gonna go ahead and take everything out of this bag because I think it's gonna make a lot of noise while I'm filming. So to avoid all that, I'm gonna take everything out. So the first products I wanna show you are from a brand called Undone Beauty. I had never seen this brand in Target, and when I saw it, I was a little bit intrigued because it looked like it was more of a natural product. These products are said to be vegan, paraben, and cruelty-free. So I picked up some products from that brand, and I will be using those today. I did also pick up some new products from e.l.f., which are these Srsly Satin lipsticks. I picked up 2 of those. I also picked up some lip lacquer from e.l.f., and then I picked up a few of e.l.f.'s brushes. I have used these brushes before, but I had never seen this package here. And then I also picked up a small crease brush. I did pick up another of the CoverGirl Advanced Radiance powder. I have shown you guys this powder in another video, and I will be using that today because I love that powder. I did pick it up in Creamy Natural, and then I also picked up the shade Classic Beige, which I want to try today because I've already tried the Creamy Natural. It's very brightening under the eyes, but I want to see how the Classic Beige works. So I am going to be trying that one today, so that's going to be new to me. I also picked up 2 more of the bite-size eyeshadow e.l.f. palettes. I picked up Very Bad and Pumpkin Pie. I do have a few more of those e.l.f. eyeshadow palettes, and I've been testing them out, and guys, they're really good. What I want to do is try to dedicate a video just to the e.l.f. products. So I'm not going to use these today, but I did want to mention that I bought those because I've been loving the other ones that I have. But we're going to go ahead and get into the video. I don't have a new primer or foundation that I purchased from that line, but I am going to be using the Wet n Wild Prime Focus Primer Serum. I'm going to use that, and I'm also going to use the Milani Screen Queen Natural Finish Foundation. This is another one of my favorite drugstore foundations. So I'm going to be using those 2 products on my face today. I just put 1 drop of the primer, and then I'm just putting it all over the perimeters of my face. I love this primer because it's very hydrating, and it just has a little tacky feeling to it when it starts to dry. So the foundation goes on it really well. So for my T-zone, I'm going in with the e.l.f. Matte Putty Primer. So for eye primer, I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Putty Primer, and I'm going into the shade White. This is what it looks like. I've been loving this because it really makes the eyeshadows like pop on the eyelid. So I bought the Undone Under Over Powder, and I bought it in the shade Light. So here's the shade of that powder. I do want to use this to set my under eyes, but I'm going to go ahead and use it right now to set that primer. Just putting it all over to set the primer. So I am going to go in with the e.l.f. Smokey Eye Brush Kit. Like I said, I'd never seen this in store, so I went ahead and picked it up. And I think it was only $12 for 5 brushes. So here are the brushes here. So I will be using those today. So for eyeshadow palette, I'm going in with this palette. It's called the Curator Eye Palette. It's in 710 Bare, and it has conditioning castor oil in it. And you can also use this as an eyeliner. So we're gonna go ahead and use it as eyeshadow today since I really don't use too much eyeliner. So here is the palette. I got this one because it has like more neutral tones. It does have some light tones here, but I got it because I felt like it was like an everyday palette. I'm going to use the Fluffy Eye Blender brush. I like it because it's kind of tapered. I just saw that, and I think that it's going to fit really nicely into those shadows. I'm going to go in with this 3rd shadow right here. It's more of like a tan shade. It is very powdery, as you can see. And we'll see how it goes on the eye. I'm just going to go into my crease with that. Now with these type of shadows, you do have to have like a thinner brush, so you're not mixing the other shadows with the shadow that you want to apply to the lid. Looks like it has okay pigmentation. I'm really trying to stay in that line there. So that one wasn't as pigmented as I thought it was going to be, so we're going to go in with this one right here and hopefully get a little bit more color payoff using that same brush. Yeah, that one's a little bit more pigmented. Next, I'm going to use the blending brush, and this is also a bit tapered. I'm going into this shade right here, this gray shade. I'm just going to go right on the corner and into the crease. This one is coming off very splotchy. Guys, I'm trying to work with this shade. It's just coming off really splotchy. I'm going to go back into the fluffy eye blender brush, and I'm just going to kind of clean the edges. I'm going to use this eyeshadow C brush. It is just a flat shader brush. I'm going to go into this shade right here. It's kind of like a bronzy tone. I'm going to pat that on my lid. To brighten up the look a little bit, I'm going to go into this gold shade right here and kind of set that on the center of my lid. I cleaned off my brush. I'm using that same brush. I'm just patting that into the center. I am going to take this small precision brush. I'm going into this light pink shade. It's right here next to the white one. And I'm going to highlight the inner corner. I'm also going to use that for my brow bone. I do want to brighten up the eyes a little more, so I'm going to go in with this gold shade right here. And I'm just going to use my finger. I'm going to pat that on the center, right on top of that gold shade that I used earlier. I feel like the eyes look really dark and muddy. All right, that's going to be it for the eyes. All right, so let's move on to the face. Before we get into any more products that I purchased, I want to go ahead and put my foundation on, and then we'll come back and apply the rest of the products. Okay, now that I've got my foundation on, I want to go in with concealer, and this is the Conceal to Reveal palette. It's number 430 Buttercream Medium Light, and this is what the concealer looks like. So it is a cream product. It has like these little lines running through it. It looks like the shades up here are maybe a little bit lighter than this shade here, but we're going to try these shades up here for my under eyes. I am going in with a brush, and I'm going to use my IT Cosmetics brush. It's a concealer brush. It says here it has glow-giving coconut extract inside of it. So let's see how this works. The shades aren't like light to dark. They're just pretty much the same shade. So I'm just going to add a little bit here. It feels really creamy going on. I know it looks crazy right now because, I mean, the camera is showing that it's really bright, but I'm going to blend it in. I think it's going to be fine once I blend it in, but it feels really emollient on the skin. It looks really creamy going on. So let me go ahead and wet my beauty blender, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and blend it in with a beauty sponge. It looks like when I'm blending it in, it's like skipping. Like when I press and pull up, it's like skipping on my eyes. It's not really sinking into the skin. And it might be because it's so emollient. It's really not a full coverage. It's somewhat of a light to medium coverage because I can still see a little bit of the darkness. So I blended it in as well as I could. I am going to go in with my Tarte Shape Tape. So I want to go ahead and set this concealer. I am going to be using my Laura Mercier's Under Eye Setting Powder. It honestly did not crease very much before I put this setting powder, so I didn't really have to go back in with my beauty sponge to blend it out or anything. I did want to use the light powder to set my under eyes, and I did not do that. So let me go ahead and just set like other areas, like right here where my Tarte Shape Tape is, just to kind of highlight that area in my nose. It is a really pretty powder. I'm going to set here too on the side of my nose with it. I'm really impressed with how pretty it looks. So now we're going to go in with the other under over powder. And this one, like the light powder, has balancing jojoba extract in it. It's a 2-in-1 prime and set powder. So this is the shade 520 medium, and this is the shade here. I am going to be using this all over to set my foundation. It is a bit dark, but I'm going to kind of just blend it all in. I thought it was going to be a little bit lighter. It's still a pretty color. Looks really nice and bronzy on the skin, but it's not a bronzer, it's actually a powder. Oh, I really like that. Ooh, it looks so healthy. That looks really nice. I do want to use the Ultra Blendable Water-Based Bronzer. Normally what I do is I actually use cream bronzers over my foundation, but today I'm going to use this over the powder. So this is the packaging, and then it's got, oh, it's really weird. Oh, wow. I should have used this over my foundation. Look at that. It looks like this, but it comes off like that. Really pretty. I may need to wait and use that. So I'm going to use this in another video. I'm not going to use it today, but I do have another bronzer, and it's the Warm Up Bronzer, and it has Glow Giving Coconut Extract. It's a 4-in-1 Radiance palette. And this is what it actually looks like. And these are the shades here. I am going to go in with these. Actually, I think I'm going to go in with this one right here because this one looks a bit dark. So I'm going to go in with this one right here. These look a little bit coppery red. So hopefully they don't come off like that. And that one does. Yeah, it looks really like reddish. I'm afraid to go in with the darker one because it looks like it has a little bit more red than the other one. But it would be nice as a blush. To me, this is not a bronzer. Okay, so let me go in with the highlighter. One's like a peachy tone, that's the top one, and then the bottom one is more like a gold tone. I think what I want to do is go in with the peachy tone one. Ooh, that's different. It's a super peachy shade. It's just beautiful. Okay, so for the last product before I do my eyebrows, I'm going in with the Advanced Radiance Pressed Powder in Classic Beige. This is a tad bit darker than the Creamy Natural, so I'm just going to use it like I would use the Creamy Natural. I'm going to use it like right here just to highlight that under eye. Honestly, I love the way the Undone powder, the light powder, made this area look. It just looks really nice and smooth, but I do want to go ahead and try this because I haven't tried this shade and I really want to see how it's going to look. I like this shade for a more subtle look. I really like the Creamy Natural for a more brightened look, but this is still good. I'm still gonna keep this because I think this shade looks really good for like a natural everyday look. I know I said I was gonna do my eyebrows next, but let me go ahead and get a blush to add to my cheeks, and then I'll get on with the eyebrows and then we'll be done. So let me get a blush. I am gonna use the Almay Healthy Hue blush, and I'm using it in So Peachy. This is actually the shade here. I initially bought the Nearly Nude blush and I have been loving it. I also picked up 2 other shades as well, but I'm going to show those in future videos. But this one is the one I'm going to use today. It's called So Peachy. And these blushes come off like so beautiful on the cheeks. Look at that. See how pretty that is? Love these blushes. Let me go ahead and do my eyebrows and then I'll be right back and then I'll give you my thoughts on these products. Alright guys, brows are done. I did forget that I need to put on lipstick, and I have these 2 lipsticks from e.l.f. so I do want to try one of them. I know that I'm not going to put on the red today because my eyes are so dark. So I do want to go into this one, which is the Srsly Satin-Creme. It's more of a nude shade. Surprise, surprise, right? As you guys can tell, I love nude shades. I am going to go in with the MAC Strip Down Liner. This is so universal. You could use it with like any nude. Here is the packaging. It's very clear, plastic type packaging. And this is the shade. Look how beautiful that nude is. Oh, I hope this works. It's not a very creamy product. It's more of like a matte nude. But it's still pretty. It's not skipping on the lips or anything. Yeah, that's a really pretty shade. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get into my thoughts of these products. Let me start really quickly with the e.l.f. lipstick. As you guys saw when I did put it on, it's very matte. It's not a super creamy lipstick, but it does feel comfortable on the lips. It doesn't feel drying, and it does have really good pigmentation. So yeah, it looks really good with that lip liner that I put on. I feel like it went on really well. I'm just gonna have to see whether it makes my lips dry throughout the day. But so far, so good on first impression. It looks really nice. For the Almay blush, these Healthy Hue blushes aren't really new to me, but this is a new shade. I really do love the way the Peachy shade came off on my cheeks today. It looks really nice and soft, and it's a very easily blendable blush. So I do love these Healthy Hue blushes. Like I said, I bought 2 more in 2 different shades, and I will be using those in a later video. So for the CoverGirl Advanced Radiance Powder in Classic Beige, this was a really nice powder to kind of highlight that area under the eyes. I really feel like the Creamy Natural is something that I would use more if I just want that really brightened look. But this is really nice to use like on an everyday basis. It's kind of like the same shade as my skin, so it looks really nice and soft. It gives a nice, beautiful radiance right here under the eyes. So I really like this. I am going to keep this shade, and I am going to continue using the Creamy Natural shade. So for the e.l.f. brushes, these brushes worked really well. I have used e.l.f. brushes before. I do think these brushes perform pretty good for affordable brushes. So yeah, I really liked this set. I especially like the fact that a lot of them were very tapered, so you can just like kind of get into that crease. So yeah, I like these. I didn't get to use the crease brush, which I'll be using here soon. But so far for these are really good. And I also love the price of this set. Now let's get into the Undone products. For the eyeshadow palette, I am not digging this palette, and I'll tell you why. Number one, the shades did not blend as easily as I wanted them to. I felt that they went on very splotchy. Even though the eye look looks like it came out okay, seeing it in person, it's a whole different look. It just looks like it's really blotchy right here on the ends. I tried to blend as much as I could, and I will say that it wasn't the brushes, it's actually the product itself. This product is very powdery, which normally that does not bother me at all. But when you have this type of setup where you have the shades so close together, you're bound to get product mixed all into the palette. So I didn't like that. So I'm glad that I got to try the product, but unfortunately this product did not work for me. And I just don't think the concept is really great at all either. All right, so for the warm up bronzer, I do feel like the highlighting shades would be something that I would use on a daily, especially the peach shade. I think the peach shade is such a pretty peachy tone. It's something that I really don't have. So I do think that the highlighters are beautiful. I just don't like the bronzers. I just don't like the fact that they're red. I do like a warm bronzer, but more like on the warm golden tone side. I don't really like a red bronzer. So that is kind of what turned me off with this palette. So this is definitely going back. All right, so for the Conceal to Reveal palette, I actually do like this concealer. Even though the concealer is not full coverage, I felt like this concealer really did brighten up my under eyes. I also felt like it went on really creamy and smooth. Now I did have trouble blending it in with the beauty sponge because I felt like it skipped when I started blending it in. But once I blended it in as well as I could, it seemed to have just kind of laid into my under eyes. You know, kind of like just melted into the skin and just laid nicely on my under eyes. So it didn't look skipped when I powdered it. It looked really nice and smooth. And that powder went on like a charm. It set it so well. And by looking at it now, it looks very highlighted under there. It looks really smooth. So I really like the concealer. It's just a concealer that I'm gonna have to work with. So I'm gonna continue to use this just to see if it'll work with my under eyes. Here lately, my under eyes have been dry. And so some concealers that I like initially don't actually work later because they either dry my eyes out and they start to crease, or they just look really patchy on my under eyes. So anyway, I'm going to continue to work with this. I really like it. It just takes a little bit of effort. Now for the powders, the Undone powders, guys, I love these powders. I especially love this one to like highlight that area. I will be trying this on my under eyes to set them. I know that I wanted to do that in this video, but it just didn't happen that way. But this one right here, oh my gosh, I love this for an all over setting powder. I wanted to tell you guys, after I did all my makeup and then I went to put some earrings on and kind of do my hair, I noticed that I have like this natural glow about my skin, and I know that it has to do with these powders because I've used that foundation before with other powders and it doesn't look like it looks now. But with these powders, it just looks really glowy. It looks very healthy. I just look like I have that glow from within look. So I'm really loving these powders and I'm going to continue to use them because I just love the outcome of the powders. So that was it of my first impressions for these new Target products. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. I'm so happy that you guys are here. Take care and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.